All right. What is this? Episode
Is this this is your episode?
This
is 13.
This is 13.
Lucky number 13.
That's not lucky.
Ooh, we just missed Halloween.
Oh, spooky. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And start.
Yeah.
And go.
How was your week? How was your week? I guess we can do this.
Do you want to introduce the episode?
Oh, I guess.
If you
I
want.
just feel like there's no consistency in anything anymore. Welcome to episode 13 of Beer and Fear. My name is Paige.
That's what I always say, that there's no consistency. And you're like, it's the
I'm
only...
flipping the script.
Okay. My name is Zach. This is episode 13.
Episode 13 is going to be on werewolves.
Werewolves.
We need to go back to actually telling everyone what the episode is on.
Well, they can... I mean, if they're smart, they'll read, but...
Let's just make it easy for them. How was your week?
What did I do this week?
Did you take notes?
Nope, no notes. I've been slacking on notes lately.
Silly boy.
And I rely on my phone because my phone controls and dictates 90% of my life.
He's one of those people that would share the Facebook art posts that it's just like your face being sucked into your phone.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh God, look them up. There's these art pieces that artists who think that they're like super like woke, like I'm aware of the world, draw pictures of like your phone like sucking, like attaching to your face, like drawn as like a face hugger.
Okay. So like
or
controls.
yes,
Yeah, I see.
And they're like, we pay more attention to our phones than the memories happening right in front of us. It's like, okay, calm your tits.
I mean, it's a little cringe, but it's also
It's very cringe.
kind of true. That's what. Yeah, I don't like technology, but it's really just controlled my entire schedule now at this point. Looking back at my calendar, I didn't do much. Halloween was fun. I worked at 12 on the 30th and then at 12 on the 31st, and I don't know if I sent you this, but I decided to dress up on the 31st.
I don't think you did.
At work, even though I know last year our director was kind of iffy about people showing up in costumes, which is weird because no one really sees us. Yeah,
besides cops.
Right. So I decided to take initiative and dress up this year.
Fuck the rules.
So I dressed as a Ducom dispatcher.
You did the same thing at Guitar Center. You dressed as a Sam Ash employee.
That's what inspired that.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I printed out a Ducom little label.
Let me see again.
I stuck it over my patch on my uniform, and then I also made that in Word and put it on my ID.
You're
so it's got like
fucking funny.
It's got Ducom's address and phone number and everything, and I put it on my ID card. So that was fun. I made a few people laugh. It was cute. I went out to a fancy restaurant last night, and I want to tell you about the waiter because he was hilarious.
Go ahead.
It was a waiter like I had never encountered before at a restaurant.
Like I've never been waited with before.
So he walks up and, the standard, hey, how you guys doing? How are you guys doing tonight?
What's his name?
I don't know. I didn't ask his name. I should have.
Dang it.
I was like, we're doing okay. How are you? Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm okay.
People ask me that at work, and I'm like, I say, I'm living. Or if they're old people, I'm like, I woke up on the right side of the dirt.
Oh, God.
Always kills them. Old people love that shit.
But I loved it because you're not expecting... It was a very honest, straightforward, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of like awkward silence for a little bit.
I'm very used to that because that's how we are in retail.
And then he's like, you guys want something to drink? Or...
Like, come here. I mean, my life's in crisis and my family's leaving me, but you guys thirsty?
And I was like, yeah, water. I mean, water's fine. It's okay. He's like,
I don't want to make your day any worse.
Cool. I'll be back in a little bit then. And
he never came back.
He never came back. He did come back a little bit later. I'm struggling with my sweater here. Sorry.
I'm seeing that.
Ugh. And asked what we wanted. and we told him what we wanted. And it's like,
As you're prone to do when you're getting asked a question by a waiter.
you guys are going to love your meal.
Oh.
And then he walked off.
You probably spit in your food.
And then we got our food, and he came back. He didn't drop off our food. We came back, and he was looking at our plates while you're eating and checking in. How's everything?
Yeah.
The standard. How's
It's like,
how
how many
you guys
bites
doing?
did you take?
And he's like, oh, man, look at that. It was very, very strange. It was a strange encounter. And I was like, at this point, I was kind of going along with it because this guy's cracking me up.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, pretty amazing. I'm happy with my choice. And then he started telling me about the pasta. I got this. I have leftovers because I ordered too much. It was like a pasta dish. It's like fettuccine, I think, and it has scallops in it.
Okay.
Oh my god, it was really good with like some cream sauce
why
and
he said,
chives.
yeah,
He knew, and he went away, and then time went by, and our table was next to stairs that descended into, I guess, a basement.
Mm-hmm. Creepy.
And he just pops up on the little shelf.
I love it.
Coming up the stairs, and he just pops up because our table's right there.
Hey, guys.
It's like, hey, just thought I'd pop in. Pop goes the weasel,
He did not.
He said that.
Oh my god.
And I started laughing.
Were you like his last table of the night?
Something like that, yeah. It was pretty late. I just thought it was hilarious. It was cracking me up the whole time. And then at the end, he asked, so are we thinking about any dessert today? We got some really, really good tiramisu.
Did you get dessert?
We got a creme brulee. We got cheesecake.
Oh my god.
It's all really good. I just figured you'd like something sweet, to counteract like the fatty.
I like that he has to explain
sauce from your pasta, really good.
He's really selling it.
That's how we pitched the dessert.
Yeah.
Did
you get dessert?
I almost bought tiramisu.
I can't believe you didn't get it.
It's very convincing. I love tiramisu, by the way. It's my favorite dessert.
I can't believe you didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm a little upset at myself. It just means I'll need to go again and get tiramisu. Hopefully I get the same waiter. But it was hilarious. I tipped him really graciously for his performance that night.
It is all an act.
It was good. He was enjoying himself. He was having a good time. So, how was your week? You had a big day yesterday. You want to tell the people about it?
I officially moved into my new apartment.
Exciting.
And my bones hurt.
Yeah.
So many heavy things.
I wish I had helped as a little bit more.
As much as I helped you?
I wanted to be, as much as you helped me, because I wanted to be a little more sore than the following day. I feel like I hardly moved anything, but I did help. We did get a lot of stuff in my car, and I moved some heavy things. So I'm glad I could assist. And I bought you liquor, so
Yes.
enjoy that.
My first liquor in my apartment.
Yes.
So exciting.
Did you break it in yet?
No.
Oh,
No. We were tired.
okay.
So we're just unpacking, and this is me avoiding unpacking.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea, when you listen to this, don't get mad at me for not unpacking.
You got all the time in the world. You got some time off work, which is good. Exactly what you need.
Yeah, I go back Sunday.
I'm surprised that she didn't take time off work.
I think originally they were going to have inventory, and then last minute inventory got canceled. And she can't not be there for inventory.
Okay.
So she wasn't taking time off. And then
Got
it was
it.
so last minute where it was like, oh, it's canceled, that
That
she couldn't
sucks.
put in a request. She's taking time off, I think, near like the middle of November.
Yes, she said. I remember that. Cool.
Yeah, that's it. I moved.
Very
I'm
nice.
unpacking shit.
I love how your place looks.
I gotta go grocery shopping.
Fun stuff. You rehomed some pets. You said you had a lot of pets that we brought into the apartment. And for once, I hope you can accept the fact that I'm right. Because I've been telling you have too many pets for the past however long. And you're like, I don't have too many pets.
I don't.
You had to give some away.
It's what was best for them. But I don't have too many pets.
Okay.
I don't have too many animals. I just, with what space I have, when I was at home, I had all the space I needed from where I was living.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue. But, now with an apartment complex where it's like, hey, you're not allowed to have these pets in the apartment complex. Mm-hmm. I have a roommate. There's only so much space. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's fair to take up space outside of my room as far as my pets go.
That's true, yeah.
Especially since we're getting a really large couch.
Nice.
So I got, I rehomed Lemon, my canary. She's going to her new home tomorrow.
I miss her.
I found a home for the bullfrog I just took in from work.
Good.
I just took him in because I don't think anyone else was going to take him in. So
Right.
I found somebody to take him in.
And then our friend got your other lizard.
Yes, our mutual friend Caitlin got my lizard, Shisho.
I got to ask her about that. I was supposed to snap her or text her or something, ask her how she's doing with that.
So I literally
Cool.
just dropped it off.
Nice.
So I now I have 2 leopard geckos, 3 tarantulas, 2 fish tanks, an axolotl. That's it.
That's it. Yep.
That's it.
Wow.
3 down. I might rehome one of my tarantulas. Maybe.
That's a lot of pets. I just think I was telling Steph yesterday too about how your bird got out. We dropped the cage off and then
She
came
didn't
back.
even go far. She's so well behaved. I'm gonna miss her. She's such a good bird.
Yeah, that's cool.
So sad.
Well,
And I caught her. Let's just comment on
you
my
did.
mad
That
bird
was-
catching
That
skills.
was incredible. I watched.
Damn straight. Yeah.
Like a
Toss her
net.
net. Hi-ya. You're not going nowhere.
Cool.
Well, I like that we both went at the same time.
Yeah, I gotta cut all these out when I'm editing. Yep, all the mouth noises.
So the topic is werewolves, and I got to pick the beer as this show goes
Yep.
for whoever listens.
It looks pretty cool.
It's interesting. The art on it is wild. So the beer is from Flying Dog Brewery. It is called Tropical Bitch Belgian IPA.
Hell yeah.
Its ABV is 8%. The description: for years, she's gone walking. When she passes, she lures you in. And time after glorious time, she never disappoints. Tall and tan and young and lovely, you smile. With a swing so cool and a sway so gentle, you'll give your heart gladly.
That's it?
That's just the description of it. I'm not done.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's what I meant, the description.
Yeah, that's the description from the website.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Its IBU is 64. Its hops are Galaxy, Amarillo, and CTZ. And the malts are Pale Brewers C60.
Galaxy hops. Ooh.
Galaxy hops. They actually have a lot of beer. A lot of it is dog themed.
I would figure because the name. I've seen this brewery before. I don't know that I've had any beer by Flying Dog
I have
before,
never had anything from Flying Dog.
but I've seen this.
So the beer,
around.
the brewery story, it starts off, it's a trip. More than 30 years ago, a group of oxygen and alcohol deprived amateur hikers convened in a Pakistan hotel room after summiting the world's deadliest mountain. There, Flying Dog was born. A Renaissance and mountain man. George Stranahan, I think. I think Stranahan, there's an N. I don't think it's Strahan. A PhD in physics, founder of the Aspen Center for Physics, professional photographer, writer, led that expedition to the summit of K2 in 1983 at the age of 52. In 1990, George opened a brew pub in Woody Creek, Colorado with Richard McIntyre, a man who continues to be well ahead of his time. There's more, but I just don't really,
That's kind of a wild story.
it's all over the place.
It's pretty neat.
I won't go into the other ones. Some of it's political. I don't see a point. Oh, I better have my thing. Okay, yeah. My beer advocate review is from a person named Pizza Butt.
Hell yeah, pizza butt. Let's hear what he has to say.
Appearance: pours with a thick white head that stays for the duration of the drink, a nice dark golden color. Its smell is very hoppy, piney, and resiny. Smells like a double IPA, but with mild citrus and undertones, somewhat bready. Hang on, let me mute my phone. Its taste is, again, hoppy, a nice malty flavor with an edge caused by the bitterness. Very slight citrus fruit is noticeable. The feel, I found feel again.
Ooh.
They're touching it. Light enough, but bordering on the edge of medium-bodied. Quite astringent, an interesting combination of sweet and dry. It's sweet at first, tastes but finishes out with dryness. Overall, not what I expected from a tropical IPA. I was expecting more like a New England IPA with heavy citrus flavors and less hoppiness. That aside, however, it's still a very enjoyable beer. Based on the description from Beer Advocate, it seems to fit with the style of a Belgian IPA, but not the tropical that the beer is named for. Like I said, ABV is 8%. Its score on Beer Advocate is an 86, which is very good. It is ranked number 124 out of Belgian IPAs. And overall on the website, its score is 86, ranked number 23,560. That's a lot of beers.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many beers.
Oh, yeah.
It's got an average score of 3.8.
I was trying to take all the descriptors that you were saying and imagine what this is going to taste like, and I'm trying to see. Okay,
I don't know.
After I taste it, how accurate is that, you know? I'm trying to get better at this.
Yeah.
Whole beer tasting thing.
Be actually like descriptive in like a good way.
Right.
Can you get glasses?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm hungry.
Good thing we're getting food.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you want?
And it says brewed with guava, pineapple, and tangerine.
I'm very excited because I think it sounds really good. But I've also been let down before.
The art is really cool.
Isn't it neat?
I wonder who makes the art for the can.
We stopped doing that forever ago.
This is Ralph Kiev.
Kiev? Like chicken Kiev?
It looks like Keav or Keau. Ralph. Did a good job, Ralph.
Ralph Macchio? Is he into brewing? Boop, boop, boop. I'm kind of excited to try this because I've never had anything from them.
Yeah, I don't think
The place I grabbed it from had like a whole section that was just Flying Dog.
Oh, interesting. It's pretty neat. Yeah, I've seen and heard about the brewery before, but I don't think I've ever had any of their beers.
Okay. Scott, got your bottle opener, baby.
And I'm officially out of room
On the shelf.
on my little table over
Gotta
there
get something to hang it up with.
for beers, so I do need to invest in a floating shelf of some kind. Look at that orange.
Whoa, you can smell it all the way from like here. That's strong.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it smells so good.
Immediately
Ooh.
immediately a fruit smell.
But you can still smell that bitter hoppiness in it.
You can smell the hops. It's a nice blend, yeah.
That's a thick foam.
Very carbonated. It does smell really good.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get some foam down.
You do have a lot of foam.
And I tried not to.
Well, they said it was
They
a
said it was
foamy pour.
Heavy foam.
Yep. You lapping up some foam over there?
I have like an inch of beer left in this glass. Get in there.
Yeah, you got it.
Get in there. All of it. All right.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's a good IPA.
I love it, I love it, I love it.
Oh, that's good. That is smooth. Like the perfect amount of bitter. Like the hops don't hit your throat in an uncomfortable way.
It's not harsh at all. I mean, I can see the he talked about it being
Dry,
like a dry
Yeah, I can
finish.
feel
Yeah,
it.
and I think that goes perfectly with the sweet up front.
I agree.
And just the blend of fruit flavors in it that works really well with it.
I love the smell. I would say, like I was saying, it's very smooth. It's not overly carbonated.
Wow.
The hops aren't too heavy for it being an IPA, and them saying, you know, that there's the bitterness of the hops in there. It is really not uncomfortable. Like some IPAs can be too heavy in their hoppiness. But again, it's not a very dark beer.
No, it's very surprising. I don't think I was not right in my assumption of how this would taste, because it surprised me.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly tasty.
Well, descriptions are only going to do so much until you
Right.
get it on your palate.
I'm honestly surprised that this hasn't been rated higher
I am too.
than what it was. You said 83, right? Or
It's scored an 86.
86.
But it's got an average score, like from reviewers, of like only a 3.8.
Yeah.
The first review was like a 1. It's the first time I've seen that.
I guess it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Well, everyone's got different opinions.
No, but I put this higher than a lot of other beers that we tasted.
I like this. Do we want to try and rate it between the two we've tried so far?
I'm trying to tell too if I can taste all those fruits: guava, pineapple, and tangerine.
I can definitely taste the guava. And when you swallow, I can taste the pineapple. I don't know about tangerine. I can smell the tangerine.
It smells good. It tastes fruity.
Yeah, I dig this. Good job, Flying Dog.
Nice.
Can we text them too? Is their number on the bottom of this bottle? It's not.
How do we text Flying Dog?
Hey, do you still have my beer from the first episode we did?
Pumpkinhead?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so.
Okay. Remind me to bring it back.
Okay. Yeah. I think I have some in the fridge.
Shove it in the fridge.
I'll have to look. Yeah, you gave Pumpkinhead a 5 and then Dead Guy a 4. And so did I.
Oh, right now I'd give this one a 1.
Yeah, I definitely rated higher than the others right now.
I dig it.
So
I'm gonna drink another one.
hell yeah, I'll have another 2.
I'm so hungry.
So
I'm withering away.
Did you pick this just because of the dog theme, or what was your tie into werewolves if you had one?
I went and I did the reverse. So
Oh, okay.
I went to a local liquor store. A local liquor store. What is wrong with me?
Beer's 8%, so
Yeah, I went to a local liquor store that I really like. The guys that run it are very nice.
cool.
And also fuck Benny's.
Well, hey, fuck that particular Benny's.
Yeah, fuck the Joliet Benny's.
I love going to Benny's. I think it's great, but I should do a better job. Maybe I can find like a local liquor place around
Support your local business. True. So I had no idea what I wanted to do for the topic. So I was like, oh, let's poke around. Let's see if I can find anything. Because a lot of beers are like named for like weird things. And I saw this and I saw Flying Dog and I was like, okay, do I want to do this one from Flying Dog or do I want to do Tropical Bitch? And I was like, Tropical Bitch.
Cool.
So then I was like, oh, dogs, bitch, werewolves. So I was like,
Dog,
the topic
bitch,
is werewolves.
Perfect. And we had werewolves on our list too.
I've never done it backwards before, but I think I'm going to start doing it that way.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Maybe I should start trying to do that too. I think it's fun. So I got a lot of info.
Hit me with that research. Hit me with your research.
I got a lot of info on werewolves.
Good.
And you actually said yesterday when we were talking about this that it is very similar to our zombies episode. And I actually had that in my notes. I wrote that this episode is structured very similarly to our very first episode about zombies.
Because there's a plethora of information available for stuff that's more mainstream.
They're both, I added, they're both deeply rooted in history and have several stories and folklore. They're both related to the supernatural.
Yep.
And they're both very present in popular culture to this day. So
quite a lot.
A lot of similarities there.
So it's very similar, not in the sense that, they're just a classic horror monster from like movies. So there's all this information, there's all this lore.
Yep.
And it's based, and honestly, I would say werewolves probably have a little bit more strong basis in history than zombies do.
Just because of the fact I think it's based off of like a living creature, like a dog,
like a wolf,
versus like a reanimated corpse.
Exactly.
So yeah, there is a lot of information. There's a lot to talk about regarding werewolves, especially related to history. But I'll try to keep it somewhat condensed. According to folklore, a werewolf is a human with the ability to shapeshift into a wolf, typically on purpose or due to a curse, like a bite or a scratch from another werewolf, with the transformation occurring on the night of a full moon.
Okay.
Just like this past Halloween.
There are some, I loved it, Halloween was on the night of a full moon. Loved it. There are some that say that they can just shapeshift whenever.
Yep.
Like, it depends on the reference and
There's-
pop culture. I don't know if you talked about that.
There's a ton of variations,
Yeah, like-
especially with popular culture.
I'm in the middle of marathoning Supernatural. Because Jensen Ackles is delicious. He is delicious. Oh my God.
I forget.
I want him to have my babies.
Scott actually provided a lot of links to resources.
Wasn't
for
there
this
a topic
episode.
that he wanted us to do? I could have sworn there was a topic he wanted us to do.
He suggested rabies.
That's right.
And
didn't he also suggest a beer for you?
He did for the botfly episode. Yeah.
And then you said you wanted to use it for something else.
Yes, if we do like parasites or something like that. But he sent over a lot of different links, and I appreciated it. And there's a lot of cool information from here.
It's so helpful.
And he's into this show. I forget what it's called, and I'm trying to find it.
Is he into Teen Wolf? He looks like he'd be into the MTV Teen Wolf.
Not Teen Wolf, but gosh, I wish I could remember the name of it. Let me see. I'll take a little second here and see if I can remember what it is.
Is it like one of those like Netflix shows?
I think so.
Is it The Magicians?
No.
I know a person that's super into those. It's not me. I swear.
Scott. Let me see if I look at it, because he emailed all this stuff to me forever ago. Oh, he named the email "How Dare You." I can search it by that. Dresden Files. It took a lot longer than I wanted to. He is. It's not a show. I was wrong. It's a book series called Dresden Files. I don't know if it was maybe made into a show. I'm looking it up now. No, it's just a novel series. So he's really into reading Dresden Files, and I think so is Toya, who's my manager at work. They're both reading it now. And I think a lot of the stuff that he sent me is perhaps inspiration from that. So thank you again, Scott, for all the resources. I'll get back into my my
Dive
research
in,
here, because I got a lot to cover. So in modern film, depictions are usually of a therianthropic. I'm going to go with that. Therianthropic. Therianthropy is the mythological ability of humans to metamorphose into other animals by means of shapeshifting.
Okay.
So their depiction of those hybrid wolf-like creatures, so half man and half wolf. The werewolf is a widespread concept in European folklore, but also shows roots in ancient Greek literature, early modern history, and some Asian cultures. Werewolves are also popularly portrayed in fiction, including literature such as folklore, legend, saga, fairy tales, gothic and horror fiction, fantasy fiction, poetry, as well as drama, film, games, and music. And we'll discuss all this. I just wanted to summarize quickly at the top. So the word werewolf comes from Old English. Werwolf is how I would say it.
I love
the,
that.
The German in me. It's WERWULF, literally meaning man-wolf. Also, sometimes they're described as lycanthropes, wherever the emphasis is. In Greek, it means wolf person. There also exist references to the werewolf in Old and Middle High German, Middle Latin, Anglo-Norman, Old Frankish, and Old Norse. So it's got a ton of history. The werewolf folklore originating in Europe comes from a development during the Middle Ages, which stems from the context of Christianization and the interpretation of pre-Christian mythology. There exists a common origin where lycanthropy is involved in the initiation.
Lycanthrope.
Perfect. So is it lycanthropy or is it lycanthropy?
I feel like it would be lycanthropy.
I like lycanthropy because that flows.
Oh my gosh.
There exists a common origin
so.
where lycanthropy is involved in the initiation of the warrior class. So apparently, back in the day, if you were a warrior, you wanted to personify the spirit of this wolf.
Oh, they're intense. I could see that.
And
It'd be intimidating.
We'll talk more about that too. In Western and Northern Europe, werewolves were strongly influenced by the role of the wolf in Germanic paganism. And Germanic pagan traditions associated with wolfmen persisted longest in the Scandinavian Viking Age. There's a little story here. Mm-hmm. Harold the First of Norway is known to have a body of Ulfednar. I'm going to go with that. Means wolf-coated men, who were berserkers that dressed in wolf hides, which were used to channel the spirits of these animals in order to enhance effectiveness in battle. These warriors resisted pain and killed viciously in battle, much like wild animals.
Okay.
So there's one possible origin. A few references to men changing into wolves are found in ancient Greek literature and mythology. Some of these are caused by people sacrificing children, devouring entrails of sacrifices, drinking concoctions of herbs and poisons,
yeah,
and curses or spells by witches. So
talk about wolfsbane.
I do.
Oh, cool.
So those were some popular ways that these people inhabited spirits of wolves or tried to become wolves. In the Satyricon, written circa AD 60 by Gaius Petronius Arbiter, one of the characters tells the tale of a friend who turned into a wolf. Quote, "When I looked for my buddy, I see he'd stripped and piled his clothes by the roadside. He pees in a circle round his clothes, and then, just like that, turns into a wolf."
He peed in the circle around his clothes.
That's all it takes.
He's like, these are my clothes.
After he turned into a wolf, he started howling and then ran off into the woods.
See you later.
Yep. Similar tales as the one found in ancient Greek literature were also present in the Middle Ages, including the transformation to a werewolf by removing one's clothing, and the restoration to a human by recovering the clothes and abstaining from eating human flesh. That's very important. As long as you stay away from that human flesh.
Stay away from that long pig. Mm-hmm. That's what it's called.
That is what it's called. In 16th century France, there were numerous reports of werewolf attacks, as well as the consequent court trials. And in some of these cases, there was clear... Oh, that's my computer.
Okay, ghosts.
In some of these cases, there was clear evidence against the accused of murder and cannibalism. Werewolvery was a common accusation in witch trials throughout their history. Until the 20th century, wolf attacks on humans were an occasional but still widespread feature of life in Europe.
Sure.
Some scholars have suggested that it was inevitable that wolves, being the most feared predators in Europe, were projected into the folklore of evil shapeshifters.
Isn't it wild to think, like, before we expanded so much into, like, cities and suburbias and encroached on nature, it was like a thing for people to be like killed by wolves.
Yeah, it was just a day-to-day occurrence.
It's like, oh, hello, welcome to, we're at the market now. Oh, hello, Agatha. Oh, hello, Gertrude. Where's your son, Timmy? He got dragged away by wolves.
Oh, the wolves got him today.
Oh, the wolves got him.
Day.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Gertrude.
Gertrude.
Those darn wolves.
It was just a thing that happened back then, yeah. A thing you lived with. Now we're apex predators, and we aren't
apex
We're
predators.
the freaking best.
We aren't.
Look at us go. Areas devoid of wolves typically used variations of werewolves to fill the niche. This included were-hyenas in Africa.
I forgot about that.
Were-tigers in India.
Were-giraffes?
Were-giraffes in Scandinavia. As well as were-pumas and were-jaguars in South America.
That's adorable.
In some Asian cultures, the were equivalent is a were-tiger or a were-leopard. Mm-hmm. And apparently there's a whole article covering werecats on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So if you want to look up what werecats are.
That's where all the furries are.
Oh, yeah.
That's dangerous. Don't go down that tunnel.
Watch out. There exist many different depictions, classifications, and variations of both werewolves and lycanthropy. I'm going to keep saying that. Transformations
Say whatever you want.
may be temporary or permanent. The being may either be the man himself metamorphosed, their double, or their actual soul. In European folklore, those bearing the affliction are said to bear telltale physical traits of werewolves, even in their human form.
Okay.
So it's easy to point these people out. Some traits are the meeting of both eyebrows. So you got a unibrow. Curved fingernails.
Oh my god.
Low set ears. And a swinging stride.
Low self-esteem. And you have to wear socks with sandals.
That's how you know you found a werewolf.
My God, it's a werewolf. He's wearing Crocs.
He's got a unibrow. One method of identifying a werewolf in its human form was to cut their flesh with the expectation that fur would be seen within the wound. That's pretty weird.
Like the wolf is beneath the skin.
Right. Appearances of werewolves and their animal forms vary between cultures, though the most common portrayal is indistinguishable from ordinary wolves, save for the fact that it has no tail, is often larger.
Oh, they usually don't have a tail.
And retains human eyes and a voice. So no tail, larger, human eyes and a voice. Yeah, they don't have a tail.
I feel like I've always seen them depicted as like extremely large. Mm-hmm. There's always different ones, obviously. Like in Twilight, they're just like massive wolves. In Supernatural, they have no fur. It's literally just people that like grow like long nails, big teeth.
It's like creepy skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they don't actually change really in any way. But then like in horror games, you'll see them like they look like they're extremely rabid, extremely muscular. Like they have like the arm length of like a human. Like the claws are almost like hands.
Yep.
So it's different across every border.
Right. I was going to say, so picture Curious George for a second. Remember Curious George?
Monkey?
Does he have a tail?
No.
He does not have a tail. You would think he has a tail because
No,
he's
he
a
doesn't.
monkey. But Curious George does not have a tail. You reminded me of that. And you're like, oh, yeah, they don't have tails. Werewolves don't have tails. They don't. Various methods of becoming a werewolf.
I'm Curious George's #1 fan.
You know him inside and out.
Yeah, I know him inside out. Left, like, the back of my hand, him and the man in the yellow hat. Sorry.
Various methods of becoming a werewolf have also been reported, with one of the simplest being the removal of clothing and putting on a belt made of wolfskin.
Weird. You got to make sure what lore is that in? You have to make sure you're carrying around a belt made of wolfskin.
I don't know. It's
Is there anything behind? I don't know. Like, is there anything behind it that's just like, okay, this is like werewolf skin, or you just literally kill a werewolf, or you kill a wolf?
Yeah, it's just
take its skin and you become a werewolf.
You make a belt out of it and you wear it.
That makes me think of what are those other mythical creatures that have skin that they carry around with them? Selkies.
Selkies.
Pretty sure selkies. They turn into, I want to say, seals.
Never heard of that.
Let me look.
Well, if it's creepy, let's add it to our list. We could
They're
do an
not
episode
creepy.
about it. Oh, okay.
Selkies are not creepy. Selkie.
There was, I guess, the belt made out of wolfskin was kind of like a branch of.
Yeah. So they shed their skin, and then they have to carry their skin around with them. Otherwise, they can never be a seal again.
Oh, interesting.
You've never heard of them?
No, never.
They're a Scottish thing, I think.
I'm surprised you know all of these niche things. It's cool.
My brain holds really random facts.
The belt made of wolfskin is kind of, I guess, like a branch of, because some stories have said you put on an entire outfit of wolf
Oh, that's
skin.
Hilarious.
So you essentially dress yourself
Like
up
shirt,
like a
tie,
wolf. Right.
pants, shoes,
Cummerbund.
your fedora.
But I guess a belt will just work too. In other instances, the body is rubbed with a magic salve. So if you got one of those laying around.
What's in the salve?
It didn't specify. Drinking rainwater out of the footprint of the animal in question or from certain enchanted streams were also considered
my
effective
God.
modes of
So, like,
metaphorizing.
Under that logic, you could like drink water out of like a salamander's footprint and
Yep.
become a
And
salamander.
You become a were salamander. Exactly. Now you got it. In Italy, France, and Germany, it was said that a man or a woman could turn into a werewolf if he or she, on a certain Wednesday or Friday, slept outside on a summer night with the full moon shining directly on his or her face.
it.
I'm not kidding.
It has to be a Wednesday or a Friday.
Only Wednesdays or Fridays.
What day of the week is it? It's a Tuesday. Damn it.
Damn it, I can't be a werewolf.
Gotta wait.
In other cases, the transformation was supposedly accomplished by satanic allegiance.
Okay.
So if you pledged your allegiance to Satan, you would become
He
a
seems
werewolf.
like a good guy, fair ruler.
He's all right, yeah.
Satanism is a very beautiful religion. Have you looked into it? It's lovely. It's all about treating others the way you want to be treated. Like, it's all about community.
It's all about community.
I'm not kidding. Have you looked into the
It's
church?
lovely.
Yeah, you should.
The Church of Satan. No, I
That's
haven't.
great.
I'll have to look that up. The curse of lycanthropy,
Yes.
again, the supernatural transformation of a person into a wolf,
course.
was also considered by some scholars as being a divine punishment.
Oh.
Some literature shows many examples of God or saints allegedly cursing those who invoked their wrath with lycanthropy. They would turn them into a werewolf.
I feel like that's pretty cool, but also like I get like you can't control what you're doing because in most cases when you're a werewolf, there's the uncontrollable urge to like you have your
Kill
base.
people.
Yes, you eat flesh.
Yep.
Your basic wolf instincts. You
Yep.
don't know who you're attacking. You could kill your loved ones. So I could obviously it's a curse, but I also think like holy shit, I'm a werewolf.
That'd be pretty neat, yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
This is a funny story. A notable exception to the association of lycanthropy and the devil comes from a rare and lesser-known account of an 80-year-old man named Thies.
Thies.
Thiess. In 1692, in Jurensburg, Livonia,
Why did you say it like
Thies
that?
testified under oath that he and other werewolves were the hounds of God. He claimed that they were warriors who went down into hell to do battle with witches and demons. Their efforts ensured that the devil and his minions did not carry off the grain from local failed crops down to hell.
That's very specific.
Thies was steadfast in his assertions, claiming that werewolves in Germany and Russia also did battle with the devil's minions in their own versions of hell, and insisted that when werewolves died, their souls were welcomed into heaven as a reward for their service. Thies was ultimately sentenced to 10 lashes for worshipping an idol and superstitious belief.
10 lashes. You're going to get spanked. Thies, you're a bad boy.
He sounds like a crazy person. Some modern researchers...
I'd like to believe that there's some form of supernatural out in the world.
I would like to think so, too.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. You can't go out just like, telling everyone.
We both agreed that ghosts are real.
Because then you'll be looked at as crazy, as a crazy person.
But we don't believe in Bigfoot. But we believe in ghosts.
No Bigfoot, but yes, ghosts.
Yes,
and
ghosts.
yes, possible aliens.
Yes.
Some modern researchers have attempted to tie reports of werewolves to certain medical conditions.
Oh.
Victims of congenital porphyria, which is a liver disorder, could have been mistaken for showing signs of werewolvery because they show symptoms of photosensitivity, reddish teeth, and psychosis.
Reddish teeth? Mm-hmm. Please tell me you have pictures.
You know what? I don't have any pictures for my whole section. I don't know.
What are reddish teeth?
I was slacking. So
you said what was the
photosensitivity,
medical?
reddish teeth, and the psychosis.
I'm sorry. What was the medical affliction?
Congenital porphyria.
Congenital porphyria. I want to see what reddish teeth are.
It's a liver
is that
disorder.
your your gums bleeding onto
Yeah,
your
if you,
teeth?
the way I imagined it is like red at the tops of your teeth, where your teeth meet your gums. I don't know. I could see that in depictions of werewolves. They
It's
got
commonly seen in infancy.
big teeth, and their teeth are red, I guess.
Increased hair growth at the face and back of the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they always say that if you masturbated, you'd have hair growth on your hands, and you'd go blind?
Never.
You've never heard of that? No. It says porphyria is called the vampire disease.
Interesting. Well, there are a lot of
There's
ties.
different types of porphyria.
There are a lot of ties with werewolves and vampires. I didn't go into it too much because I feel like we can have a whole episode on vampires also. But they do share a lot of similarities, so I'm not surprised there. Sufferers of hypertrichosis, which is excessive hair growth all over the body, have also been tied into possible werewolvery cases. This was debunked due to the rarity of the disease. Oh, God.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. It's like your teeth are made of blood.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And it's so common in infancy.
People suffering from Down syndrome or rabies were also suggested as being possible.
I could see rabies, but Down syndrome?
Yeah, Down syndrome, I don't know. Rabies makes sense, but all of these have been debunked. But some modern researchers like to kind of tie them together.
Sure.
Make those connections. There are various remedies that exist to cure a werewolf, I guess. The ancient Greeks and Romans believed in the power of exhaustion.
Exhaustion?
Mm-hmm. Victims would be subjected to long periods of physical activity.
Okay.
This was presumed to have worked due to werewolves feeling weak and debilitated after attacks and plunders. So after a werewolf goes out and kills people, they're exhausted, they wake up, they turn back into a human, they feel just lethargic, and out of it.
Sure.
So the ancient Greeks and Romans kind of made that connection. Just figure, just wear him out. Just put him on a treadmill, and he'll turn back into a human. In medieval Europe, there are 3 traditional methods. Medicinally, via the use of wolfsbane.
Yeah.
Surgically, or by exorcism.
So they always, in a lot of pop culture, they always said that wolfsbane was poisonous to werewolves.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see too much about that.
Really?
No. I know there exist, like TV shows and movies that, that's the case. But
or maybe it's just that wolfsbane is poisonous in general.
But traditionally, it wasn't like that. I didn't do too much research into wolfsbane, but it does have some tie-ins with, obviously, werewolves. A Sicilian belief of Arabic origin states that a werewolf can be cured by striking it on the forehead or scalp with a knife. Similarly, another cure involves piercing the hands with nails. There are also some less serious remedies to curing a werewolf. One method from German origin states a werewolf can be cured if one were to simply address it 3 times by its Christian name. While one Danish belief holds that merely scolding a werewolf will cure it.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding.
Jeremy, you didn't do the dishes.
Hey, What are you doing?
Gallivanting off into the forest.
Don't go near that corpse.
And you're nude.
Don't eat that human. Don't you eat that human.
Jeremy.
Don't do it.
You listen to me. I am your mother, and I'm so mad at you right now. I have a silver bullet in this gun. I swear to God, it's got your name on it, young man.
Oh, God.
Quickly, I found an article that says the poisonous sap can be absorbed through the skin or in a liquid dose. The distilled wolfsbane can kill within minutes. It's deadly to anyone, not just werewolves.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The folklore says werewolves can cure a wolfsbane can cure a werewolf. But first, he must die from its effects because wolfsbane is actually toxic.
Interesting.
So the plant itself is toxic.
If like the oils are injected.
Well, in general, the plant is just like toxic. Like I think there was an article that was like descriptive of it, but I didn't really look into it because this is your bit. I'm just annoying.
Well, I'm curious now. Maybe I'll look that up a little more in depth.
It's like zombies all over again.
Right. Most werewolf fiction pulls influences from much of what we already discussed, while also expanding on certain parts of folklore and legend. So it takes the stuff from history and kind of puts it in, blends it into their adaptations of werewolf fiction. Werewolvery. But they also add kind of their own little twist on it. For example, it's commonplace for werewolves to be vulnerable to silver weapons and objects and highly resistant to other types of injuries.
Okay.
This particular claim stems from the Beast of Gevaudan, an 18th century wolf-like creature that was shot by a silver bullet. So I guess they just kind of figured, oh, it was shot, it's dead, the bullet was silver. Werewolves are very susceptible to silver. Along with the vulnerability to the silver bullet, the full moon being the cause of the transformation only became part of the depiction of werewolves on a widespread basis in the 20th century. The first movie to feature the transformative effect of the full moon was Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman in 1943, which I have seen because it was played on Svengoolie. And I love Svengoolie.
What is that?
Svengoolie?
What's that?
I'm pretty sure I told you what this was.
Pretty sure you haven't.
So if you don't know, Svengoolie is it's like a nightly, weekly TV show. It's this guy who dresses up and he shows really old horror movies, mummy movies, vampire movies, werewolf movies,
like
zombie
Vincent
movies.
Price.
Essentially. Similar. He dresses up as like a vampire sort of looking thing. And he shows the movies, and then in between the commercial breaks, he adds commentary.
That is 100% like Vincent Price.
He adds commentary. He adds facts about the movie. He talks about the actors that were involved in the movie. He does like a little musical bit every time. Svengoolie is super cool. If you've never heard of it or never checked it out, it's been around for decades. The original Svengoolie is either no longer alive or just simply isn't doing it anymore.
So it's just a title that gets passed on.
Right. So Rich Coase is the guy who took over Svengoolie. I got to meet him in person. I got a picture with him. Yeah, I got a picture with him.
That's so cool. When?
It was back when I was working at GC.
Did he come in and like buy a guitar?
No, he was doing a meet and greet at some farm. That was in Plainfield, and I was like, I told my boss, I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive to this farm in Plainfield on my break, and I might be late because I'm trying to get a photo with this guy.
Was this Don?
I think so. Yeah, he was real cool about it. So,
that's Don for you.
My break was like an hour. And
it's this guy.
Yep, that's Svengoolie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Super cool. He's hilarious. He's super corny. And I just love watching the old, B-movie horror flicks. A lot of very popular horror films, too, like Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. So that was very cool to meet him. If you haven't, it's still playing today. I'm pretty sure Svengoolie is still a thing today.
My heart belongs to Vincent Price. That is the man of horror. Look at him. He was beautiful. Mm-hmm. He was hot when he was young.
Additionally, the 1897 novel Dracula and the short story Dracula's Guest, both written by Bram Stoker, drew on earlier mythologies of werewolves and similar legendary demons. So again, a lot of ties in with
now I kind of want to read the original Dracula.
I want to watch a lot of these.
We should definitely do Dracula.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or vampires.
Yes,
Just in general.
100%. The first feature film to use an anthropomorphic werewolf was Werewolf of London in 1935, which inspired many other pop culture entries. Another influential film which catapulted the werewolf into public consciousness was The Wolfman.
You know, I've never actually seen the entirety of Werewolf in London.
I don't know that I have either. I was trying to remember, and I have a list of movies on my phone that I'm adding to constantly that I want to check out. And a lot of these are really old movies.
An American Werewolf in London, right?
Yeah, that's one of the newer ones, yes.
It's not new. American Werewolf in London?
Oh, I think there's a lot of adaptations to it. There is like a 1980s film,
American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London.
1981.
yeah.
American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, so I consider that to be new compared to Werewolf of London from 35. So, but another influential film was The Wolfman in 1941, which I also added to my list. I want to watch that too. Over time, the depictions of werewolves have gone from fully malevolent to even heroic creatures.
Wait, I'm confused. What movie was 35?
Werewolf of London.
Of London.
Werewolf of London, right? Not American Werewolf London.
Okay.
It's Werewolf of London.
I've never heard of that.
It was like the original film, which launched all these other ones.
Okay, yeah, so 35. Okay. Oh, that is old school.
Hell yeah. I want to watch it.
Yeah, I remember now.
Oh, yeah.
That's classic.
It was funny. Actually, in that film, I didn't add it in my notes, but I remember reading it.
Yeah.
That actor who played the werewolf, he still showed a lot of similar physical characteristics of being a human, as you can see by the photo.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to endure the long makeup sessions.
I don't blame him.
Of constantly having to change in and out of a werewolf.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think that's more appealing. The classic monster look.
You think so?
I would say so. Because like you compare it to like werewolves now, where it's just like
you're completely look like
too
a
much.
wolf.
It's all CGI,
Right. So.
Like again, I will reference Twilight because that movie, that series was just a clusterfuck. Those werewolves, like if you look at like the behind the scenes, where like the characters in complete like green suit for the green screen, and like Kirsten Stewart, is that her name? Kristen. Is it Kristen Stewart?
It's Kristen.
Okay. When she's like talking to the actor, what's his name?
I didn't watch Twilight.
I don't remember.
Edward Cullen?
No, the dude that like got shirtless all the time. Whatever. Anyways, I think they like put like a tennis ball like on his head where she's supposed to like make eye contact.
Yeah, look at the tennis ball while you're talking.
Look at the tennis ball. That's where his eyes are gonna be. It's just this dude. And there's like a scene where she pets him, and he's in his green screen suit. He looks so upset,
like an anamorph green screen thing.
I have to find it. Go on.
That's funny.
I'll find it and show you. Hang on.
Over time, as I was saying, the depiction of werewolves have gone from fully malevolent to even heroic creatures, such as Underworld, the Underworld, and Twilight series.
I wouldn't call them heroic in Underworld.
I mean, well, I didn't know what Underworld was. You've
never seen Underworld?
No. As well as various other movies, anime, manga, and comic books. So they're not like killing machines where they go out and like murder and slaughter people. They almost become this heroic kind of
in Underworld, I would say that, okay, it depends on what your interest is. In the story of Underworld, I think that my dad was super into Underworld because he had a crush on Kate Beckinsale.
Oh.
So I've seen all of them.
Okay.
But it's like, I don't really think I would call anyone really a hero of any of the Underworld portions.
I copy and pasted that sentence.
It's a podcast. We're supposed to share our opinion.
Right.
So if you've seen Underworld, then it's like the werewolves are dicks. The vampires are dicks. You're really just supposed to support the protagonist, which is Celine, one of the vampires who falls in love with a hybrid who's a werewolf and a vampire named Michael.
Interesting.
So there's really no like group to back. I mean, you mostly follow vampires because you're following Celine, who is a vampire.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Here is what I was talking about.
Yeah, I clearly have not seen it.
I've seen all of them, even the newer ones that are shitty, because I like to complete stories that I follow. Here you go. The best thing ever. just what is his name?
Pat the back of my head.
Pet my head, Bella. Fuck, what's his name? It's gonna bother me until I know. Twilight. I think they're making another book. Midnight Sun.
Oh, God.
It's never ending.
Let it die.
Taylor Lautner. That's what it was. God. Honestly, why did you do that movie? It killed any options of a career for you. Silly boy. Honestly, he has legit not done anything since like this movie Abduction in 2011,
I don't even know
which
who he
was
is.
terrible.
Current day werewolf. I'm almost done. Current day werewolf fiction
Yes.
almost exclusively involves lycanthropy being either a hereditary condition or being transmitted like an infectious disease by the bite of another werewolf. In some fiction, the power of the werewolf extends to human form, such as invulnerability to conventional injury due to their healing factor, superhuman speed and strength, like Twilight, and falling on their feet from high falls. Also, aggressiveness and animalistic urges may be intensified and more difficult to control, such as hunger and sexual arousal. Usually, in these cases, the abilities are diminished in human form. In other fiction, it can be cured by medicine men or antidotes. So, I guess in summary, there's a lot of different ways werewolves can become werewolves. There's a lot of different ways you can cure werewolves. There's a lot of different characteristics and descriptions of werewolves.
Sure.
It all depends on what exactly you're watching, and a lot of people have
Well, that's pop culture for you.
ventured off and added their own
And it's a
things.
part of history, so everything changes. Just like
Exactly.
in zombies,
Yep.
I'm sure just like with werewolves or with vampires, where it's, depending on who gets a hold of it and who's writing the story, they will tweak and change different aspects of the folklore.
Right, we were talking about with zombies. We mentioned 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
How that was, I think, don't quote me on this, but one of the first depictions of fast-running zombies.
Right.
And then other people have kind of taken that and ran with it
It
too.
goes in different directions.
So-
It really depends on like
Same
where
thing.
the director or the author
Right.
is like, this is what I feel
Where they're-
best makes the story.
Where they're taking influences from, right?
Exactly.
I'm going to end with a fun fact. Nazi Germany
Yes.
used werewolf,
I love hearing you
W-E-R-W-O-L-F.
say anything German.
Werewolf, as the mythical creature's name is spelled in German, in 1942 to 1943 as the code name for one of Hitler's headquarters,
Oh,
Werewolf.
that's interesting.
In the war's final days, the Nazi Operation Werewolf aimed at creating a commando force that would operate behind enemy lines as the Allies advanced through Germany itself. Two fictional depictions of Operation Werewolf, the U.S. television series True Blood,
Right.
and the 2012 novel Wolf Hunter by J.L. Benet, mix the two meanings of werewolf by depicting the 1945 die-hard Nazi commandos as being actual werewolves.
That's funny.
It's pretty cute.
That's interesting.
That is my section.
I enjoyed your section.
A lot of information.
Again, it's because it's so readily available and because there's so much history and so much use of werewolves.
A lot of variation.
When you have so much options of research, there's a lot to cover.
And I will be honest and say I pulled all of that information just from the Wikipedia article of werewolves. I didn't go to any other websites or
There's
links.
honestly, you're better off sticking to the Wikipedia one because once you go down that rabbit hole, there's going to be all those like side sites that have like the old school like 90s
Yeah.
website format. It's like, I'm a werewolf. Here's my story.
Well, and I'll also be honest too. It's like that's why I didn't pull a whole lot of information from all the links that Scott sent
There's
me.
a lot.
Because there's so much.
And there's no way to be like, this is consistently what everyone believes, because then you'd have to go down each branching path.
I didn't want to go down each individual
this
thing.
type of werewolf, and this type of werewolf can only shapeshift on the third moon.
Right. The Wikipedia article just sufficed as a good summary, overall summary of everything.
Because then you have to go into way more detail, and it's just too much.
Right.
So, obviously, in my opinion, werewolves aren't real.
Right.
Sorry, I just don't believe in cryptids.
No.
I love learning about cryptids. I don't believe in cryptids or creatures.
I would agree with you.
I just, like ghosts, aliens, 100%. But like cryptids and stuff, I just can't see it.
I feel you.
But because werewolves have been around for so long, there are going to be stories.
Put these in the fridge.
Oh, wait, bring me one.
You want another one? Right?
Yeah, I'm going to drink it.
I'm going to wait till I get food.
I'm planning on maybe getting a little buzzed.
There's still Dogfish Head left over, the hazy IPA. We almost had a heart attack.
Yeah. So the power went out, and we were worried we'd have to record the whole thing over again.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounded like, I swear, I heard like a boom or something. I feel like someone just got into a car
I
accident.
didn't hear anything.
I hope whoever got into a car accident is okay if that's what happened. But yeah, the whole power just went out. My internet just came back online, and my entire computer shut off as we were recording. So I'm glad everything's saved.
So I don't think it heard the last thing I said, which was segueing into my topic, where we were saying that we believe in ghosts, we believe in aliens.
Oh, we got that.
Oh, it did? Okay.
I was talking about how there's still a lot of beer in my fridge.
Okay, so we did get that part. Okay. Segueing into my part, even though we don't believe in it,
Right.
because of history and because of people being superstitious during the time and it being more common, there's going to be accounts of actual werewolves. I use air quotes in that sentence. Peter Stube, the werewolf farmer of Bedburg. This happened in 1589. According to Peter Stube, a farmer in the Rhineland, lived just outside of the town of Bedburg during a time when there was a huge amount of political and religious upheaval. The part of Germany where Stube lived had been laid waste during the Cologne War between... Is it the Cologne War? It is? Okay, I always worry. Every time I see that, I'm always worried I'm saying it wrong. Between Catholics and Protestants. Now, citizens of the town were being killed, and rumors began to circulate about a wolf-like creature roaming around killing both people and livestock. It was described as greedy, strong, and mighty, with eyes great and large, which in the night sparkled like unto brands of fire, a mouth great and wide with most sharp and cruel teeth, a huge body, and mighty paws.
Ooh.
Which, like, things in that time, the description behind it was just like, damn.
On point.
People lived in increasing fear of the creature, traveling in heavily armed groups when they had to go from one town to another, and each newly discovered victim would only increase that fear. Attempts were made for several years to capture and kill the monster, but with no success. Until 1589, when a group of men managed to track the creature and encircle it with their dogs. When the hunters closed in, they found not a wolf, but Stube. It's not clear whether the townsmen actually saw Stube transform or if he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he was captured. Stube was tortured and confessed to killing one man, 2 pregnant women, and 13 children. According to a pamphlet circulating in London the next year, he further told his captors that he had made a pact with the devil when he was 12 years old, exchanging his soul for various worldly pleasures. Stube didn't feel this was enough incentive on its own, so Satan gave him a belt that allowed him to turn into a wolf. He used it to commit any number of atrocities, including incest, murder, and cannibalism. He was executed on October 31st, 1589, horribly and gruesomely. He was lashed to a wheel while the flesh was torn from him with heated pincers. Wow. All his limbs were broken, he was decapitated, and as a final step, his body was burned.
Holy shit.
His mistress and daughter were also accused of incest and were burned alive.
Oh my God.
Stube's head was mounted on the body of a wolf and set in public as a warning to others who might be considering lycanthropy. Like, you're considering it. It's like, wow, this sounds cool. Gonna go down to the drugstore and get bit by a werewolf.
1589 on October 31st. Do you think there was Halloween back then? 1589 Halloween
well,
Day?
Hallows Eve has been a thing for years.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So Halloween became a thing later.
I wonder if they chose that date intentionally.
Probably. Hallows Eve always had like a supernatural connection to the other side behind it. I have a couple stories. So
Perfect.
Giles Garnier, 1573, the werewolf of Dole. Werewolves.com reports that Giles Garnier lived outside the French town of Dole and was essentially a hermit. A while after Garnier's residence began, children from the town began to disappear or to turn up dead, mutilated, and dissected. Local law authorities concluded it must be the work of a werewolf. Obviously. Just your constables in the area, and he's just like, werewolves.
It's gotta be werewolves.
It must be the work of a werewolf, and encourage the citizenry to be on the lookout for and to hunt the wolf. A group of men from near Dole were doing just that when they spotted what appeared to be a werewolf looming over the body of a child. When they came close enough, they saw that it wasn't a wolf, it was the hermit Garnier. Likely after torture, he confessed at his trial, saying he had been visited by a ghost or demon, which had given him an ointment that would turn him into a wolf.
Like we talked about.
He confessed to killing and eating several children who had ventured into the woods, and said he shared the meat with his wife.
Aww.
Garnier was found guilty of witchcraft and lycanthropy and was burned at the stake.
Wow.
There's a lot. There's more, but these are just the most famous ones.
Sure.
Jacques Roulet in 1598, the werewolf of Angers. According to Mental Floss, what information is known about Jacques Roulet comes from an 1865 account from Sabine Baring-Gould. Reportedly in 1598, some men had come upon the mutilated body of a boy in the woods. Two wolves were spotted, tearing at the body, but took off as the men approached. The men pursued the wolves, following their bloody tracks until they lost them. At the same time, the men spotted Roulier, bloody and half-naked, crouching in the woods nearby. Roulier was captured and arrested. He confessed to the murder and said that he had a salve that turned him into a wolf. He further said that the boy wasn't his first such crime, and that he had killed and eaten others. His confession was unusual in that there's no evidence that he gave it under torture. He made no claims to witchcraft or of having made a deal with the devil. He was convicted of murder, cannibalism, and lycanthropy and was sentenced to death. His case was appealed, though, and he ended up being determined feeble-minded. He was instead sentenced to undergo religious education for 2 years and sent to an asylum.
Interesting.
Yes. The Werewolves of Poligny. Poligny? I don't know. 1521.
Okay.
This story involves a group. According to werewolves.com, the story begins with a traveler passing through the French town of Poligny, Poligny.
Those French names.
Yeah, whatever. Who was attacked by a wolf. The traveler fought the beast, wounding it and causing it to flee. The man followed the blood trail left by the injured beast, and it led him to the door of a house in which a woman was binding her husband's injured arm. The traveler was suspicious, and he reported the entire incident to the authorities, who captured the man and tortured him. Michael Verdun confessed that he was a shapeshifter. He also confessed to murder, cannibalism, and trafficking with the devil. Lastly, he named 2 other men who were also shapeshifters, Pierre Bergot and Philibert Monteau. The two named men were brought in for questioning, and Bergot confessed also to shapeshifting and to committing some other pretty heinous crimes. He expands on Bergot's confession, saying Bergot told of making a deal with 3 mysterious strangers to protect his sheep. Bergot claimed he was told only later that the deal included renouncing God, and that he received the ointment from Verdun, which allowed him to shapeshift, and the 2 men jointly killed at least 2 children. It's not known for certain if Monteau also confessed, but it is known that he was executed with the other 2 men. I think this is my last one. Yeah. The Wolf of Ansbach, 1685. In 1685, Ansbach in Germany, Ansbach?
Sure.
You speak German.
I'm not familiar with the town.
Oh, it's probably not a town anymore. Was part of the Holy Roman Empire. The district was faced with an actual wolf, which was killing and eating their livestock, and eventually made the step up to killing people. The terrified citizens were certain that not only was the culprit a werewolf, but that the wolf was really the town's former mayor. He's never named in the counts, but is clearly disliked.
Yeah.
Back from the dead in the form of a wolf. A hunting party went after the wolf with a number of dogs and drove the wolf into a well where it was killed. The citizens, still firmly believing that the animal was a werewolf, cut off the wolf's nose, put the mask of a human face on it, dressed it in men's clothing, and hung it from a pole, presumably as a warning to any other werewolves who might consider the area a good hunting ground.
Jesus.
Isn't that wild?
That's a little fucked up.
I know. Back in that time, shit was fucking crazy.
I was just thinking the whole time, it's crazy how there's all these accounts of like legitimate attacks by werewolves.
Yep.
And it's hard to exactly like figure out like the validity and truth of all these, like how they were passed down. Because I mean, it's from so long ago. So
Yeah.
if it's people like retelling this story, it's bound to have changed from what actually happened since then. And I'm sure other people have like added their own sort of.
History is like a game of telephone.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And it's just surprising because you don't hear about stuff like that today.
No. You'd have to look for it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some tales of it.
Sure, but it's
you
like
don't hear about it casually.
It's crazy how there's all these different stories about legitimate werewolf attacks, back in that like the 15th.
But there's such a
16th
difference
century.
because before it'd be like, this is readily accepted, like news that there is a werewolf in your town. Hear more about it at 9 on Channel 2.
Right. Yeah. So that I'm almost certain that there's some of that stuff where it's been heavily fictionalized.
Yeah.
Based on the actual account that occurred, but still the whole like dismembering people and hanging wolves and
punishment
mutilating
was much
people
more intense
back then for these alleged crimes.
Yeah.
And then the fact that these people, the accused, were admitting to these things too, was surprising to me.
Sure. Well, also, I mean, I would question, like, what are you willing to admit when you're being tortured?
Oh yeah, sure.
How much of that is an actual valid answer?
Of course, you just want it to.
You want it to stop.
You want to be done with it. Yep. Wow. I like the stories.
It was interesting. What did you think of the beer?
It was good.
Why did you answer like that?
It was really good.
I'm uncomfortable. I don't like having you in my ears like this.
I really like the beer. I have not eaten anything today, so it's really
It's hitting.
one beer is all it takes. 8% is
it's
pretty
higher.
high for a beer. Very
I'm
tasty.
on beer too.
You are in beer too. I was going to wait for my food, but I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Based on the descriptions that you were talking about from the Beer Advocate
I'm
review.
always hesitant when it comes to IPAs, but I think that they did a really good job with this one.
Fantastic. Perfectly balanced. Nothing's like poking out too much.
It's not like there's too much
being too
sugar.
harsh.
It's not too much fruit. It's very well balanced in the fruit flavors and the hops.
Yeah, I think everything mixes together quite nicely.
I would agree.
So I am a big fan of this this brew.
I enjoyed it.
Good.
I would want to try more from Flying Dog because I enjoyed this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I heard about the brewery. I know about them, but never really tried a beer.
First time I've heard of them.
I know I should have done it this episode, but I meant to include... Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll just record this now, and I'll put it at the top of the episode
fuck it.
somewhere. But I wanted to include all of our details that we usually share at the end of every episode in the beginning, because... there still might be some questions as to how to go about contacting us, how to submit stories for Frights and Flights, where you can find us, things like that. So I'll put all this at the top this time. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. If you want to follow us, stay up to date with our newest episodes. I'm sure Paige, with moving into her new place, she will add a bunch of pet pictures to Instagram soon.
Can do.
But we always post our new episodes on those platforms as well. You can reach out to us on social media as well by doing that. We're on all popular podcast platforms, pretty much wherever you can find a podcast, we're on. And beerandfearcast@gmail.com. beerandfearcast@gmail.com is our email. You can email us, just say hi, ask us what's up. You can chit-chat with us. And it's also how you submit...
Shoot the shit.
Shoot the shit. It's also how you submit stories for Frights and Flights, which is what we're planning on doing once we have enough ghost or personal ghost and paranormal stories. We hopefully want to release an episode where we tell your stories on the show.
Maybe next year.
Shout you... Yeah, maybe sometime next year. Shout you out, and then when you submit your story to us at the email... also submit a beer recommendation, because we're going to have a flight of beer, and we're going to try your beer as we talk about your story. All the instructions on how to do that are in the descriptions of every episode, regardless of where you get the episode. YouTube, Spotify, wherever. All the instructions are there. Our email's posted there. So if you have a personal horror or scary story, paranormal experience, whatever, feel free to send us that story in an email and then include a beer recommendation. I think that
covers everything.
That's it for this week. That was Werewolves. Hope you enjoyed.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. And I hope you enjoyed Halloween too. And Election Day is tomorrow.
Oh my God, he always finds something to ramble on about.
All the time. Election Day is tomorrow. When you hear this episode, Election Day will have been the day prior. So we don't even know how it's going to turn out.
People are like boarding up their shops and shit.
It's scary. I'm frightened. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see what happens.
If the world is still here by Wednesday,